You're listening to an episode of the Abigail Pugh podcast with, you guessed it, Abigail Pugh. I'm an introverted mama who took my online business from 0 to 7 figures in 15 months selling my own digital products on social media. And guess what? I did it all with my 3-year-old daughter no less than 3 feet away from me at all times. Now I'm bringing you everything I've learned about building a wildly profitable online business that supports your life while allowing you to truly live it. Get ready for raw, honest conversations with entrepreneurs making thousands per month selling their own digital products and people just like you who ditch self-doubt to create the life they've always wanted. If you're ready to make more money, have more impact, and still have time for the things that matter most, you're in the right place. Grab your sneakers, head out on your hot girl walk, and let's dive in. Today's guest is a sarcastic New Yorker who I instantly became friends with last summer and probably the only person I know who swears more than I do. Vicki helps people who are looking to make money online without needing to be an influencer, a scam artist, or an asshole. The fact that she sent that sentence over as a bio made my heart so happy because she is just fully herself in everything that she does, and I love that. Today, we are going to dive into a topic that so many of you have asked me about, but I never felt qualified to have the conversation on my own. Yes, today we are going to be diving into the topic of MRR or master resale rights. And if you've been around for a while, you know that I am not a huge fan of MRR and what it's become, but probably not for the reason that you think. And Vicki, who has now exited the space of MRR but built a 7-figure business with MRR, is here today to chat all about the shit show that MRR has become. Vicki, welcome to the show.
Abigail, I literally forgot that I sent you over that bio. And when you were reading it, I was like, oh, this is so perfect. And then you said asshole. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're the best.
Oh my gosh. If you guys have small kids, maybe not the episode to listen to with them. I don't curse a lot on my podcast. I do kind of in real life. I curse sometimes, right? But when you're around somebody who kind of curses like a sailor, it just comes out a little bit more. So if you're listening with your kids around and you don't want them to hear, F-bomb or anything, maybe pause the episode and come back to it.
Oh my God, what does it say about me that most people who interview me on their podcast have to say that same disclaimer? I hear that a lot. And I'm like, oh my God.
I love it. You're unapologetically yourself, and we are here for that, you guys. And I have to say, when I swear, when Vicki swears, it's never like F you to a person, right? It's more just really emphasizing what you're trying to say. And she's very passionate about what she's saying, which is why I love it. And that's kind of how I use cursing as well. So I'm here for it. And I'm so excited that you're here.
Fully self-expressed. That's what I like to call it.
Exactly. Okay. So I would love to kind of dive into your experience with MRR. And I just want to start this off by saying, if you are someone that sells an MRR course or you got your business started with MRR, this is not an attack on you. This is not an attack on any person that does MRR or does the things that I'm saying. My main goal here today is to talk about what kind of the MRR, the world of master resale rights and MRR has turned into when it comes to the marketing, because that's what I have an issue with. It's not necessarily the actual, license, which we're going to dive into that as well. But Vicki, I'd love to kind of just hear your experience with MRR and what it even is, because I think a lot of people kind of confuse what MRR actually is.
Sure. Oh, this is my absolute favorite topic in life to talk about. And it's funny because when we were talking about what we were going to talk about on this episode, I really am so 2 years into my digital journey that I'm able to really communicate about the master resale rights world in a way that most are not, because there's still people that are either really sucked into it or so turned off by it, and they're polarized on each end of the spectrum. But I can really see things from both sides. And I just also want to echo what Abigail just said. If you're somebody who's right now selling a course with master resale rights attached and you're inside the world of master resale rights, I have no beef with that. And I think it's really important to say, there's no attack here by any means.
Yeah.
But I do think it's what has happened in the online space requires explanation, and it requires some illuminating for things that maybe not everybody has seen. So the way that I got into this whole world was I was a network marketer for 10 years. I built a very successful business as a network marketer. Absolutely loved it. But as that business sort of plateaued for me, I sort of started looking for other things to do in the online world. And 2 years ago in early 2023, I saw all of these women popping up on my Instagram feed, dancing on their kitchen counters, telling us how much money they were making. That's what I did. And it's so weird because once you start following one of them, it's like whack-a-mole, right? It's like one
Yeah.
pops up, then another pops up, then another. And so all of these women were inundating my feed with this whole concept of selling courses. And I literally did not know that this was a thing people did for money. I had no idea there were people putting their education from their brain into a product and selling it. And so once I started following that, half of that group of people were doing affiliate marketing. So they were affiliates for these really high ticket affiliate marketing courses. And these other half of these women were selling courses. At the time, it was just Roadmap course or the Learn and Earn Profits online course, which is no longer, but that was the only other course on the market when I first started. They were selling one of those two courses and they kept saying, if you buy it, you can sell it, buy it to sell it, buy it to sell it. And you get 100% commission every time you do. And so I bought my first course, which was Learn and Earn Profits Online. That was my first course that I bought. I was like, what are these people doing? Like, I didn't quite understand it, you know?
Yeah.
And then I took the course, and I have to be honest, most of these courses are chock full of incredible education. Like, it's very rare that I've opened up a course and been like, what is this trash? It's filled with some really great stuff. And so off I went to sell these courses because don't forget, I came from a background of online business. Not only that, I came from a background of sales. I was in sales for 20 years. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. I was a publishing sales rep. And so I had so much experience to give to the world of digital business. And so from that space, I was selling these courses. But then this entire digital world took this weird, scammy, Ponzi turn. And people were beginning to market these courses, not for the education inside of them, but for the quote unquote business opportunity that was attached to the license. And master resale rights is simply a license that you're given when you purchase a product, right? It's something that's just attached to a product and it just gives you the right to resell it, period. But when it gets into the wrong hands, it becomes a really weird, very circular, I call it a circle jerk, Abigail.
I knew you were going to say
Yeah,
that.
I had to. I'm so sorry. I had to.
There's the rating on the show right there.
But like it is, right? One person says another person, another, and it's just like, where does it end? Like, what are you actually selling? Okay. And so now the world of master resale rights, instead of it being a license attached to a product, which is what it is, it became an opportunity. And so people were buying it to sell it, to tell other people to buy it, to sell it, to tell other people to buy it, to sell it. And then it becomes the biggest pyramid scheme of all time. Because at the end of the day, what are you selling?
Yeah. And I think what MRR, one of the things I don't like about it is that it is kind of conditioned people to think that they can sell something without having experience, right? They can just show up, create a digital product because somebody told them it was profitable and they can sell it. And I've always been an advocate of if you want to sell something, but you have no experience, share your journey first. Like show them how you're going through it. Do a 90-day series of, okay, day one of learning how to XYZ. And then when you're done, you can sell a digital product on it, right? But I think one of my biggest frustrations with MRR is that it's, like I said, like conditioned people to think that, oh, I'll just sell a digital product on something because it's profitable. Like who cares if I have any experience or if I have any knowledge of this product? And I just find that so misleading. And it's so hard for me, especially when like in the big boom of MRR, I want to say it was 2023, right? 2023. And then it like blew up in 2024. The amount of DMs I got from people saying, I spent my last $500 that our family has to buy this course and I can't sell one of them. And they're just being taught the same strategies that these bigger accounts are doing. And they're saying like, if you buy this, then this is what could happen for you. And I just felt so like personally involved in this because of the women that were coming to me and saying, like, I spent my last $500. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the marketing has gotten so manipulative and so misleading that people are literally shelling out like the money that they have for their kids' food to get this. And it's so misleading. So I don't know. I have a really hard time with it. But I'd love to hear kind of Do you think people should start off selling a course with master resale rights as the first thing that they do? It's not something that I recommend, but something I love about Vicki is that we can agree to disagree on things. And I think it's like the basis of strong relationships is being able to have disagreements and still love and respect each other. So I personally don't think people should start with a course with master resale rights, but I know Vicki disagrees, and I'd love to kind of like hear your reasoning for that.
So actually, two things here. First of all, we disagree first so on a few things, Abigail and I'll give you an example. Last night, I posted a story where I said, I don't care about the new ratios on the Instagram story feed. And she wrote, Vicki, I completely disagree. And I was like, oh, well,
Onwards and upwards.
upwards. Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. Number two, I actually don't believe that people should start in the online space by quote unquote selling a course with master resale rights. What I do believe is if I can just give everybody like a lobotomy for a second and have everyone forget about what the current state of affairs is of the words master resale rights in the market. And we just took the master resale rights concept for what it is, which is just a license that allows you to resell something as your own. If you're a beginner and you've never in your whole life entered the digital world, and then you're like, I need to figure out a way to make an income stream. And I'm like, okay, you need to sell stuff in order to do that. Well, the stuff that you sell, you can either A, be an affiliate for. I'm a big proponent of affiliate marketing, especially for somebody who's never sold anything a day in their life, or you can sell a digital product of some kind. Digital products that I am more used to are courses or some educational material. Do I believe that every beginner has A, enough experience and B, enough wherewithal to create their own digital product off the bat right away? Not necessarily. I think that takes time and expertise in something. But do I believe that people can enter a business world and have something to resell that makes sense for themselves and for their market and for their audience? I do. And I think that's where the license of master resale rights is very powerful. That's what it was made for, you know? So
Yeah.
that's what I believe.
I love that. I think a lot of people associate affiliate marketing now with, those big courses where people were being affiliates in like a weird way. In just a very spammy way. Like, if you buy this, then you'll have my exact results. And that's just not true, you
Yeah.
guys. But when she says affiliate marketing, it could be for so many things, literally for the makeup that you're using, literally for the bag that you're carrying that everybody asks you about. And something I will say about affiliate marketing, and my sister is trying to start a TikTok and start a personal brand. And something I was telling her is that you can build so much trust with people in the beginning by just talking about things that you love. Really, like, you're in the back of your head, you're not like, I'm going to make a business out of selling this hair crimper. No, just like talking about things that you love. And you create that trust by first sharing about the things that you love that have nothing to do with your business, right? Because if somebody that you love shares about a hair crimper or a waver, something cool, you order it, you love it, you get the best damn waves of your life. You're going to trust that person so much more when they come around and try and sell a digital product or an online course, right? Because the trust has already been built on something that has nothing to do with your business. So that's exactly what I told my sister. She wants to get into teaching something along the lines of like music. She has a degree in music. Her daughter is barely 2 and sings Wicked at the top of her lungs. Like, it's so cute. She's like incorporated that. And I told her, I'm like, just start sharing about the things that you love that help you as a mother, right? Like, get comfortable sharing things that you just love in life and build that trust first so that when you have your product idea, you're like, okay, cool. I've built trust with all these people on these other things. And you're probably not going to make like a ton of money from the affiliate links, right? Like, I still don't. My Amazon links, when I share like my pink mic or little things that I use, like my podcasting mic, I get asked about those things a lot. I make like $20 sometimes. Like, it's not a lot, but it's really fun to learn and see like what people are interested in, what they like, and build that trust first. So I think affiliate marketing done this way, kind of, I don't want to say as an influencer, but as someone that's just showing up and sharing things that they love, not necessarily trying to sell it, there's so much trust to be built there. Now, Vicki, I'd love to hear why you stopped selling MRR, because I know, you don't sell courses with MRR attached to them. I got to get the verbiage right.
It's important, right?
It is. I totally think, and it's easy to just let it slip off your tongue what everyone else has said that it is. My brain knows that it is. MRR is not a thing. It's courses sold with a license of master resale rights. But I know that you've stopped doing that. Can you walk us through a little bit about why and what you've pivoted into instead?
Yeah. Well, I need this to be clear. I was somebody that was earning close to 200 grand a month. And I share that with you so you understand the gravity of my decision for me to want to sidestep this whole thing. And I'm also someone that's really pulled by integrity. I am a very trust is my number one love
Huh.
language. And I felt like when I saw what was unfolding, when I saw the same people that Abigail was talking about in the beginning, which was these people were coming into my inbox saying they spent their last dollar on these courses and nothing's happening for them. And I knew damn well 90% of them were never even going to take the course. They just weren't taking it. They weren't even learning anything from it. They had nothing to apply the content to inside of their brain. And I started one DM at a time, seeing the ripple effect that these courses, the messaging of the master resale rights, quote unquote, business opportunity was having for people. And even though I was never someone that was selling the opportunity, I was always selling the education, but also simultaneously sharing my income. That left my audience with an impression that I just didn't ever mean to leave. And so it got so uncomfortable for me. My integrity meter went off the charts, even though I tried so hard to still remain selling those courses, but do it different, quote unquote. You can never out integrity the market that you're selling inside of.
Hmm.
And it was a very hard lesson for me. And so after months of just figuring out what to do, I stopped selling those courses and I moved into creating my own. And I am so thankful for the master resale rights world because it taught me what actual people who were not the ones that were being lured by all the nonsense, like actual people who really wanted to make something of themselves online, what they needed to be educated on. And that's what my courses do. So it filled those gaps inside of the stuff that I learned as somebody who was selling courses with master resale rights. And that's what I do now.
I love that. And I've seen like in your content and your stories that now you're able to help people that did get started in MRR for the wrong reason and help them kind of come out of that and pivot. And I think a lot of people are scared. Like, I mean, if I was making 200K a month from Master Resource, it's like that's a really big decision to
Yeah.
leave and to
Yes.
kind of follow integrity and make sure that you're showing up in a way that you can sleep at night knowing the impression that you are leaving on people. So that's wild to me and I love it. This is one of the reasons we're friends. Like I am a very honest, ethical, I have a big conscience. Like I really care about showing up in an honest way. And I love that about you. But I also love that now you're able to help people that want to get out of MRR and want to pivot. So I'd love to hear, I know you've like shared a few examples of people that were in it. If we could just hear some of the stories of people that were in MRR and they got out and kind of how they pivoted. Cause I think that's something too. It's scary. It's scary to pivot. Like
It
I
is.
pivoted last summer and it was terrifying. And I'm just now seeing the fruits of that labor. And it was a scary 6 months where I kind of just completely pivoted my business into something that was more sustainable for me and my family. And it was terrifying. Like pivoting in anything is terrifying. And I did this in the beginning of my business too. Like when I first started, I started out selling UGC starter kit because I'd been doing UGC for I think like 4 or 5 years before. And I loved it. But then I fell in love with the marketing and the digital product creation instead. So I completely pivoted my entire business and it was terrifying. I remember waking up one morning and being like, I don't want to talk about UGC anymore. Like, I love it for myself. I still have a long term UGC client, but I don't want to teach on it anymore. And I just kind of like made the pivot and it was terrifying. So, could you share a few examples of people that have kind of pivoted and what they're doing instead?
Yeah. And I want this to be clear too. I'm going to give you two examples. The two examples that I'm about to share are people who really tried, quote unquote, to make the whole make money online space work. Like they were people that bought those courses, that saw that marketing, they saw the luring stuff. I don't want to say they fell for it, but they were in positions in their lives where they were willing to do whatever it took. And then once they realized and they were inside of that world, once they realized, okay, what are we actually selling here? What is this? This messaging is so you sell this like dream. I call it selling the pipe dream of freedom, the pipe dream of retirement. So these two people specifically were doing just that. And then took a long, hard look at what they were actually doing and was like, this doesn't even make sense for me. And they made $0 selling those courses. And they're functional, incredible people. Like it's so much to offer. My first example is Cole Melby. He is, he actually teaches flight instructors how to be flight instructor. Like he teaches people how to fly planes, essentially. And so that's what he does as a trade. And he has so much knowledge inside of that world that he did not at all know how to connect the dots between, okay, I know this skill in life and okay, how do I show up in the online world and make money from that skill, right? It's a toughie because it's like, unless you're physically sitting inside of a plane with someone and teaching them about throttles, it's like, how do you monetize that?
Yeah.
Well, through the education that he learned in these courses and through mentorship with me and my community, we were able to get him out of the make money online world. He grew an audience to over 50,000 people at this point. He has so much authority in that space and began to monetize through digital products. He wrote me a message for Labor Day. And he said, I launched my first product and I think he said he had a 5-figure launch and it was like, he's like, it was a game-changing income for that kind. And it's in the aviation space, like,
So niched.
right?
Right?
And yes. And then, so that was example one. And then example two is Kylie. So Kylie was somebody, again, she bought all the courses with master resale rights, like every single one that you see out there. And she tried to sell them all and she did the pipe dream messaging and she's cool. Kylie's a cool chick. Like she'll F-bomb me under the table, and she's just down to earth. And she's like, at some point, I just was like, I can't do this anymore. This doesn't even feel right for me. And so she took a month break and she thought to herself, what am I actually good at? Like, what do people come to me for? And she even asked her husband and her mom, and they both said to her, organization, like you are obsessive about organizing around the house. And so off she went to create a new account. She's up to over 220,000 followers at this point.
Woo!
I know, she's amazing. And she teaches a relatable way to organize and declutter your home in under 30 minutes a day without using all the fancy bins and stuff like that. That's her whole shtick. And so she is monetizing she just created her first digital course, which she's really excited about. She has a 7-day declutter challenge, and she has a loyal following of people who follow her. And she gives like just regular everyday tips and tricks of organization and decluttering. So just two good examples of what can be done.
I love that. Literally, you guys, anything can be monetized, in my opinion. I think there are some that are like easier than others to come up with an idea for it. But I truly believe that every person out there, whether you're ready to sell a digital product right now or not, has something to offer the world. And I think so many people fell into the space of master resale rights because a lot of the marketing was, you don't even have to come up with a product, just steal mine. And that was one that I had a big issue with because I'm like, it's just teaching people to sell the exact same thing over and over and over again. And the thing for me when I teach people about selling something is that like you are the differentiator. So if you're selling the same product, like there's no differentiator, right? And that was one of the very misleading marketing messages that I had such an issue with. And I feel like that one spread really fast. Like, you don't even need to do anything. Just steal my product and sell it. And you can, make $1 million in however long. I don't know. And it just felt like so beyond frustrating because, yes, are there people out there making bank selling a course with master resale rights? Yes, there are. It's just plain and simple, but that's not the typical result. That's not what's going to happen for most people. And so I think for me, it just felt so misleading. And it's hard for me to talk about this because I am not someone that likes to like call people out necessarily. I should say like I'm very empathetic. So I can often see both sides and I can often see like, okay, do I agree with what they're saying? Absolutely not. But I can see why they're saying it and why they felt like they had to say it. And as someone who's an empath, like I feel like when I watched Titanic for the first time, I cried for weeks. I was devastated for the same with Pearl Harbor. Like I take things so personally and I can't stop thinking about it and like feeling for people. So when I see this type of stuff happening, I understand why some people are like, you know what, I need to put food on the table. I need to do what I need to do. And a lot of the marketing has made them think like, whatever, just do what you have or do what you can and it's fine. And it's just so much of the marketing is so misleading and I cannot handle it. So, okay, Vicki, if someone is selling a course with master resale rights attached and they're like, I'm done. Listen to this episode. I want out. I want to be done. what is the first thing you would tell them to do? And how would you kind of advise them to pivot? And you guys don't worry, I'm going to talk about what Vicki offers at the end of the episode because I send people to her all the time that are like, hey, I sell master resale rights and I don't really know how to get out because it's not my expertise. I can teach you how to market when you have the product that you want, but like pivoting from MRR, like I've never done it. So I send people to Vicki all the time. So tell us, I'm someone trying to get out of MRR. What's the first thing I do and how do I get out?
So I would, it's hard because I would need to know what course they took. And I know every single one because I've taken them all because I wanted to see what was in there. Because I think people like that you're talking about are either people who were properly educated and just don't know how to implement the stuff, right? There's a huge difference between really great education and effective implementation. And there's a big gap in those two things in the master resale rights world. So I'd have to know what course that they took. But usually 99% of people that come to me with this issue, they need to go backwards for a minute. They need to start at a place, they need to understand, they almost have to unlearn some stuff. One of them being the definition of digital marketing. Like people in the master resale rights world literally don't even use the proper definition of digital marketing. So that's what my rookie course is for. So I hate to like softly pitch that here, but that's specifically what that course is made for, is that person who needs the beginning before the beginning. In order to properly show up in the online world, I know you, the person listening to this, who's in the master resale rights world, who's looking to pivot, I know you've seen nothing other than the pipe dream messaging, but there's an entire world that lives outside of that messaging, that lives inside of integrity and truth and honesty, that you can build a business inside of that you don't even know you have inside of you yet, because you haven't even discovered that there's a niche that you can go into and really create content inside of that people would be magnetized by. You don't need to make all of that Lori bullshit. You just need more guidance on how to pick a right market and a right niche for yourself. So to be honest with you, step one would be the rookie course. That's it. Yeah.
I love it. Now, on the flip side, if someone is like, I love selling a course with master resale rights, I want to continue doing it, how would you recommend they market it in a way that is not misleading? Because I know there are some people that still want to. They love the course that they took. And like you said, I think there are some good ones out there. I've never seen any of them. I have never like seen the inside. So I can't personally vouch for some. But I know some of the creators and I know some people like the heart behind what they built. And I think some people still want to do it. And again, I have no issue with that. You got to do what's best for you. But how would you recommend that they market it in a way that is ethical and honest?
This is such a hard one because I think there's an answer that I have in my gut that I don't even know if they're allowed to do. So let me start with that one first. If we can just hover over this for a second. You want to sell a course that has master resale rights attached to it. But what is the value that you personally have received from that course? What is the knowledge, content, education that you have been able to implement inside of your own business that has helped you do X, Y, or Z thing? Okay. So like you have to sort of back up for a second and say, what did this course actually do for me? Because oftentimes the real answer is, it kind of taught me branding because I sort of skimmed through that module. And so I'm able to just say that it has branding inside of it. Meanwhile, you're just selling the license. If you want to sell a course with master resale rights attached to it and you don't want to be in the master resale rights world, don't sell the license, just sell the education. You're allowed to resell it without selling the license. Then all of a sudden you're not in that world. Now that gets really slippery because then people will associate that course with the license. But if you're not selling the license, but then if you want to stay inside of selling a course with master resale rights, the first thing that you should do is figure out, where does this course fit inside of the bridge of products that I'm creating to help get my ideal client from where they are today to where they ultimately want to be. Because if you're entering the online space, the most successful people out there build a bridge of services, products, offerings that get their ideal client from point A to point B. So if you can get more clarity around where your course, that course fits inside of your bridge, you can begin to market it at that stage to your ideal client that has nothing to do with pipe dream messaging. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Kind of knowing exactly what phase someone is in their journey, using that for that phase, and then creating your own products for kind of the rest of the journey. I feel like that's what
Yes.
you did. You used the courses that you were selling with Master Resale Rights to say, hey, this is a great foundation. Start here. And when you're done, I'll teach you XYZ in my products. And I loved that. And it's kind of what I did with my offer suite, not with any MRR in my product suite, but each offer was like, okay, if you're at this stage, this is what you need. If you're at this stage, this is what you need. And I think that's great because it doesn't make them so attached to just selling that course to where like if they stop selling it, they would make no income. But it gives it like a place in their product suite and it makes sense there. And then they're able to build off of that. Cause I think that was the goal. That was the original goal. The first course that I saw come out, it actually launched right around the same week that my digital product bootcamp first launched. And so it was very confusing because so many people were like, what's the difference? And I'm like, I don't even know what this course is, you guys. Like, I don't know the difference between them. This is what mine offers. But that's kind of how I was introduced to it. And I think that was the original goal was like, here is a course to help you start your online business, everything you need to know. And then from here, you can take this and build your own business with the information you learned. And then it turned into, like you said, a business opportunity where people were selling very unrealistic dreams. And that's kind of where it took the turn for me, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I'm such a proponent of selling education. Like I love
Yeah.
selling courses. It just makes so much sense, and it makes so much sense for any niche. It really does.
Yeah.
But that stuff sort of just coated the entire industry of course selling with like this weird scammy stuff on it. And I'm like, ugh, let's dilute the scam paint, a little bit.
Okay. So is Master Resale Rights a scam? I don't think so. I think that a lot of people like to call it out as a scam in their marketing, as a like a very, oh my gosh, I'm calling this out. And I think there are aspects of the marketing that are scammy to me, but the actual concept of Master Resale Rights attached to a course, it's not
Brilliant.
a scam. It's on, yeah, like Vicki said, I think it had potential to be brilliant and it got turned into something that I 100% don't align with and feel like I don't like what it turned into.
Yeah. Yeah. Is master resale rights a scam? No, because the license of master resale rights has been around however many years, a long,
Yeah.
long time. The concept of selling something with master resale rights. And there's master resale rights, there's resell rights, there's private label rights, there's all of those kinds of rights that are given to so many
Yeah.
different things. So no, the license of it is absolutely not a scam, but the world of what it's become online is.
Yeah. The marketing of it to me has become, I don't even know that I would say a scam. I would say it's very unethical and it's very misleading.
Yeah.
That's what I see the most is misleading marketing. And then, people like me and Vicky and a lot of my friends who are kind of in the space have to like reverse the damage essentially and kind of set realistic expectations for people and let them know that like that's not going to happen for most people. And not to say I don't believe in people. I think people can do whatever the hell they want. Like if you set your mind to a goal, I strongly believe that you can get there, but I'm not going to ever like promise something that I have no way of making sure that promise is met. Like it's up to you, right? And I think a lot of the marketing has let people believe that like you can totally do this, you can do this, just buy my course, buy my course. They buy it and then they're like forgotten about. And
Yeah, that too. But I also just feel like it's important to point out, like, you're going to buy the course or you have the course, like, and I actually just made a reel about this yesterday, and Abigail and I are so aligned with this stuff, but I am very much louder about it on Instagram because I originated in this world. Like, a lot of my audience are these people.
what's your Enneagram? Aren't you a 9?
No, I'm a 1.
You're a
Yeah.
1. I'm a 2. Wow, I didn't realize ones were so like call stuff out.
We're very pulled by integrity. Like we're
Yep.
like the do writers.
Yep.
And so when somebody's like out of integrity or they're
Yep.
lying or whatever, like I am so drawn to like,
Yeah.
nope, that's not. So that coupled with the fact that I have such an audience
Yep.
that follows me because they trust me. And
Yeah.
so I'm like so pulled to it. But one thing I said in my reel yesterday was, yeah, you can succeed in the world, in the current state of affairs of the master resale rights world, if you want to unethically market and market nothing but numbers, which I would be remiss to say, just a small reminder, there are rules we have to
Yeah.
follow online, and laws that we have to follow
Yeah.
online. And hint, hint, you've heard it here first, that those things are not following those laws, right? They're like against
Yeah.
the rules. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yes, people are like, why aren't I making money? Well, because you're not marketing that way.
Yeah.
And good, you shouldn't,
Yeah. And if you guys, anyone, I mean, I think everybody should read this book, but especially if you sell anything around making money, I absolutely think you should read this book. It's called Don't Say That. It's all about kind of the rules of what you can say in marketing because there are rules. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And yeah, so I will link that book down below for you guys. Yes, it's my affiliate link, which is something else that you have to disclose when you are sharing links and there's an affiliate to it. You have to let people know that you earn a small commission from it. So there's just a lot to learn on that, but that's a whole nother episode someday. Vicki, I am so proud of you. You did not say the F word once. You said circle jerk, but you did
Really?
not say the or maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear it once. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, and I was really trying so hard to like keep it together, you know?
Oh my gosh, so funny. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so excited. We are about to hang up from this and I'm going to go record an episode on Vicki's podcast, which I'm so excited about. You guys, thank you so much for listening today. Again, I will link Vicki's rookie course if you are someone that is in the world of selling a course with master resale rights and you don't want to be there anymore. The rookie course is where you should start, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and my guests today. If you learned anything from our episode, I would love it if you could share it over on your Instagram stories and tag me at Abigail Pugh. Until next time, love you, mean it.